Evening all, 2 days to go, 2 days to go, 2 days to go. And what is it 2 days to go to? It's FanFest. And I know many of you aren't there. And I'm going to do some imploring today. So I'm getting ready. I'm actually putting my imploring hat on. Consider buying the HD stream. Okay, you get a lot of free stuff with it. It also helps CCP out, and I think it's also something that you should maybe consider. I will be on it. I am obviously going to be watching the HD stream because obviously it's Dust. I love Dust. I love Eve. I love all these things, and I think, I do joke and troll and laugh and generally become a massive dicklord throughout the year. But I would like to think that I go through some form of transmogrification around FanFest where I actually become completely uncynical with everything I do, and I sit there and I believe everything CCP tell me, everything. I would be what you call a gullible date. If CCP just happened to be, in terms of an anthropomorphic personification of a company, if they happen to be a human being, then they would be quite honestly having their way with me because I just believe everything that I see at FanFest. And this is because everybody has to have hope. And I have played Eve and CCP products and Dust, etc. I have played all these products on one single premise, and that is hope. Because I hoped that Eve became the game I wanted it to. It didn't, it became something else, probably better. I hope that Dust becomes the game I want it to. And it has, it's become a very good game, but I'm curious to see where it goes from here. I'm curious about Valkyrie, I'm curious about, World of Darkness as well I'm sad about, but I'm curious to see what they maybe do with the IP. So, hope is one of the most important teachings that anybody can have, and particularly when it comes to hobbies, entertainment, etc. I think hope is the most important thing for me. I have numerous hopes when it comes to the whole range of products. Let's start with them. Number one, I hope the World of Darkness franchise does spawn a game at some point. Maybe not now, maybe not an MMO, because I think an MMO was quite, it was very, what's the word? It was very, ambitious is probably the right word to put. I mean, I don't mean a troll in that, but it was probably quite ambitious to do. I think if you'd have given that to Blizzard, they'd have still gone, ooh, that's a teeth dryer, mate. Ooh, haven't got the parts till Wednesday. I honestly think they would have, because they'd have looked at it and said, there's a lot there, brother. There's a huge amount of IP here. I mean, it's like, how do we keep everyone happy? Because there's like 15 different werewolf clans. There's probably like 20 different, vampire clans. Yes, I'm sad because I know this. No, I'm not ashamed of it. And I think this is kind of the challenge. Is so, for me, number one would be I'd love to see eventually a World of Darkness product coming through. Even if it was just maybe, I don't know, a second or third, concept coming through, maybe like a shooter or something, I don't know. Maybe a look at Vampire the Masquerade, because that obviously is, I believe it's a World of Darkness franchise, but done by another company. But anyway, we'll see. I mean, I'd be curious to see what comes through with these. Secondly, I'd like to see where Eve is going. For me, I'm getting back into Eve. I'm worried. My waistline is worried because, my God, that game made me fat. And I think this is I've spent like 3 years getting the weight off, and the last thing I want to do is put it back on. So I'm going to have to come up with some clever regime where if I play for like an hour, I have to do 100 push-ups or something like that. But what I would say is I'm loving Eve because I'm not getting into the serious business bollocks of it. I'm enjoying it excessively, I must admit. And I think I'm curious to see where Eve is perhaps going. I don't play on any more than one account now. Well, I have to, but I don't, I haven't activated all 15 accounts because lol, I'm not doing that. I'm not in an alliance. We run an alliance, but we're not running a huge Eve contingent. And I think that's the nice thing as well. So I think just generally we're keeping the game very controlled and marginalized. And I think that's probably a good thing. Thirdly, and probably most importantly, is what's happening with Dust. I am curious to see where Dust is going. I'm not even going to speculate on where it is and what's happening and what's going on, but I think the community have an interest in knowing where this game is going, what's going to happen with it, and what the next patch will bring, and etc. etc. So I think this is going to be very, very pivotal for for any fans of Dust. Is that you must watch the keynote or whatever, the introductory. You must watch that. because I think it's going to be important. Because again, even if they turn around and say, yeah, problems, let's try and do this, new player experience, etc., and there's nothing there necessarily for the veteran players, there is in the long run, because it's obviously a fixing and an evolving of the game. And I think that is probably the most important piece for this, is to evolve the game, move it on, and generate, new content, new information, new whatever it may be, because that at the end of the day is what brings players in. Polish and mechanical fixes are all interesting, but it's not really that's not going to bring in new players. That's going to satisfy older players. And I think that, to me, is maybe what I would be more kind of curious to see, is to see what other players or new players will get coming into the to the game. And I think that's kind of it. I mean, I'm that's 3 major things that I'm curious to know more about. Probably won't get anything about Word of Darkness, but I wouldn't expect there to be an E-Fest. But I would be interested to see what Dust and Eve are doing. Now, to be honest with you, I'm also curious to see what Valkyrie's doing, but I have an issue with Valkyrie. Valkyrie, to me, is flawed in its business model, right? And I'm more than happy to be debated upon this point, because I want people to tell me I'm wrong, because as I see it, it's a peripheral barrier product. So you need a Neo Geo to play it, or something. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of, you need something of hardware to play it, and I think that's fine. But it does become limiting. Let's say, how many people are going to go out there and buy a 200 quid headset? How many people are going to go and do X, Y, Z? So this is probably my only issue with it, is I'm curious to see how they're going to do it more than anything. Yes, it looks great. Yes, the idea is fantastic. Oh my god, it's exciting. But how are you going to commercialize this? I mean, this is maybe my marketing head kicking in, but I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, it's great technology wise, brilliant, but where's the product? I don't see the product. Tell me the product, bro. And I think that's it. It's like, show me the product kind of thing. I think FanFest also brings out some interesting things as well, because you meet new people, you meet interesting sort of like people doing interesting websites. You obviously hear more about that. I think also people are going to be, I would say, probably hitting it hard in terms of the bars. There's always going to be the odd story here and there. I wonder if they're doing an alliance panel. Last year's didn't go too well. Yeah, it was a bit of a disaster, that was. But maybe they're not, maybe they are, who knows. But I think people want to know these kind of things, so I would hope they do, because I think people obviously are there to hear of the conflicts. They're here to hear about the great stories that have happened within Eve and Dust and and so on. I was going to say Valkyrie then, but there's no stories there yet, but there soon will be. And I think that's kind of where you trade it, so it's a marketing event. Let's not forget that. It's there to obviously promote the products and the game. People are paying a lot of money to go there, so obviously it's there for you to go and enjoy the company as well. So CCP, you're the guest of CCP when you do this. Even if you're paying them money, you're still the guest to them. So it's in their interest to make sure that you have a good time. Not like that. Seriously, not like that. This isn't some weird, seedy kind of businessman's busman outing, dudes. It's they are there to kind of sell the game, sell the country, and sell everything about the game in essence, because you're their customers. And so in theory, if all of you stop playing the game, they've got no company. So this is why they're there to kind of meet and greet and say how much they love you as well. But there we go. So I think FanFest is an exciting time. If you're already there, then I'm envious of you. I just massively envious of you. I wish I could be, but I think certainly try and enjoy the day. Go up to people, just say, "Who are you, bro?" And they won't. If they turn around and they're a dick to you, then just call them a dick and walk off. Don't worry about it. No one knows who you are, bro. But just be polite to people, be nice to people, because at the end of the day, everyone's in the same boat pretty much. And I think if you want to go and have a great conversation, get drunk and talk Merc stories, then just find someone. And I give you a challenge. Go and find an Eve pilot and tell him how brilliant Dust is and see what you can do. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.